Before I hopped on a plane and I left the country, I left you guys for over a week. I had no internet at all. I decided to buy over 500 Alejandro Balde gold cards and just have them sit on my account in the chance, albeit a low chance, he's used in an evolution while I'm gone. I was buying them for 950, 1,000 coins and hoping that once I get back to the USA and I check my companion, oh my God, he has tripled in price. That basically summarizes my reaction to checking Footbin after I got internet again, but there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is I sold all of my Alejandro Baldes. I 2.5x'd my coins, which I invested about 500,000 coins in, and I made 1.2 million coins out of it, and I didn't have to do really anything other than list all of these cards up on my companion app for like an hour straight while I was in an Uber ride back to the airport. It's not fun, actually, to be listing that many cards on the companion app, but we got through it. And the bad news is I missed his peak. In fact, he was about 3.5 thousand coins on Saturday morning and Friday night, but I didn't get internet until it was Saturday afternoon, just 2 hours before content release, and I decided to sell all of them because I knew if this evolution actually did drop, then he was going to crash in price, and, well, that's exactly what happened, not until Sunday, but he's back down to what we bought this card for. So that was an incredible investment, but the question becomes, what do we do now? What's the most important thing in FC 26 Ultimate Team? It's coins. And where can you get the cheapest coins? At Loot Bar. It's the cheapest and it's the safest coin trading platform on the entire market. It's 10% cheaper than all the other platforms. And if you use my code Nitro, they're going to give you an extra 8%. And if that's not enough percent, they're going to give you 5% more coins than what you even paid for. Loot Bar has quick delivery within a half an hour. Big creators use it and it also has great reviews. Don't forget code Nitro at checkout. It's really weird coming back to Ultimate Team after a week, and I definitely understand why more and more casual players, because they don't play every single day like I do, they leave the game, and then once they come back, it's just hard to be drawn back in because of how much has changed, how much your team is outdated. I mean, this new Festival of Football Captains, which of course I haven't covered yet because I haven't seen it yet, apparently EA Sports are just dropping 1 billion players into every single promo again. For the first couple promos, it seems like EA Sports were actually kind of trying to slow down the power curve. At this point, they have completely given up, and it's honestly worse than it ever has been before. That is so many players to be in one promo, and we saw the same thing last week with the UCL primetime promo, which, of course, we missed a lot of as well. I'm going to get caught up today, but the first things first, we do have to look at these Baldes we've sold. I sold hundreds of more of these Balde cards. I sold for about 2,700. Again, I could have probably gotten close to 1,000 coins more per card, which would have been another 500,000 coins added to my coin total, 3x or even close to 4xing my coins. But I can't complain. I mean, this is close to the best case scenario that we could have gotten. And it happened to a lot of the cards that we talked about. It wasn't just Balde who went up in price, because we also talked about Frimpong, who was a card that was about this price as well. That card had also spiked to 3,000 coins. You can see this card went from that, 2K, which he crashed to after he went back into packs. He reached 4,000 coins at his peak. So that card doubled in price. We talked about him. We talked about Ronald Araujo. We talked about Mario. We talked about a lot of these 83 and 82 rated cards that could potentially fit into Evos. And I'd say like 80% of them did. So no matter what card you picked up, it probably worked out. And if you made profit on our last video, if you followed my lead with Balde, which I kind of suggested against, or you went with your own card, like Araujo, like Frimpong, like Mario, or so many of the other cards that rose, let me know what you bought and how much profit you made off of this trading method so far. I don't think we're done with it yet, though, because there's a lot of options to go with as investments now with these 82s and 83s, now that they're kind of back down in price. We already looked at Balde. Truthfully, you could reinvest in this Alejandro Balde. You could reinvest in a card like Ronald Araujo, who isn't popping up on this list right now, but he was a great example of it. 950 coins is what he's at right now, and I think that's a good investment, guys, because he's never been that low before, and he spiked up to about 8,000 coins on Friday. That was a really, really good investment if you got in at about, that 1,100 coins. I think 1,300 was about at the average price he's been over the last few days. So that's an incredible trading method. And if you're confused on what this is, basically these are just cards that can fit into evolutions. Or if they're even hyped up because they fit into an evolution, then these cards end up spiking in price, which is exactly what happened to that Balde and so many of these cards, is they got hyped up to fitting into this new evolution right here. But it didn't really boost the card enough to sustain that value, especially at how many of 83s get packed nowadays. That card went up to, 3K, but it came right back down once the evolution dropped. So it's all about selling into the hype. And we even talked about Felix Mecha. He's up in price right now. That card was 1,500 coins. He's up to, 2,500 coins. So a pretty good investment. But we talked about him about 1,500. We didn't get in at his low point. Either way, there's so many different cards that you can go with. But truthfully, I think the next move might be even 84. We've seen cards like Teo Hernandez. We've seen other 84 rated cards like Marcos Llorente. These cards have spiked up in price a ton because of the evolution. So Marcos Llorente, as you can see, he was about 12,000, 11,000 coins, spiked up to about 17K in just the hype of this evolution. And now that the Evo is actually out, he sustained his value, whereas a card like Teo Hernandez, maybe less of a sustained value, but he was about 13,000 coins, spiked up to 18,000 coins. The 84s could end up being better very, very soon. So I'm keeping my eye on cards that could go into evolutions for 84s now. Omar Marmoush could be the first one that bangs if there's a striker evolution that fits Marmoush, because even though we've had some evolutions that fit Marmoush in the past, they're not big boosts. They're not big evolutions that anybody cares about. Once we get one for Marmoush, this is a card that if you can get for closer to that discard value or closer to 1,000 coins, you're really looking at very little risk, but it just depends on how long you hold. And if the 84s start getting more evolutions like we saw with the left backs, then that Omar Marmoush is a card that I think is absolutely going to go to the moon. I think Aurelien Tchouameni could be a really, really good one right there. As we continue to scroll, you're going to see a lot more cards that are just more fodder price. So picking out the 84s that are going to go to the moon, I would stick to the ones that are above fodder price, which is kind of why I liked Tchouameni and I liked the Omar Marmoush. But you could even look at cards like Salma Peruelo. This is a card that once it fits an evolution is going to go up in price a ton. The risk right now with the Salma Peruelo as an evolution is this card could probably drop in price over the course of the next couple of weeks if it doesn't fit into an evolution. So right now, 14K, it's probably a good price, and it'll probably be much more expensive once an evolution fits a 84 rated left wing or striker or right wing. But if there's no evolution, it could drop to, 11K, to 10K, to 9K, and you start risking some coins there. And it's all about getting in at the right time with maximizing your profit. The thing is, I do think it goes over this price by a lot and gets close to that extinct, range at 35K once an evolution comes out for Peruelo. Am I going to get involved with Peruelo yet? Probably not. I'm probably going to stick to those 83s that we already looked at. I think the 83s are a little bit less risk because they're just not going to drop in price. A card like, let's see, Ronald Araujo at 950 coins. This is a card that even though it might be a while till he fits an evolution again, it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks before another center back Evo comes out that boosts his price up. I mean, how much are you risking? You can quick sell this card for 600 coins. So there's not much risk with the 83s, which is why I'd stick with these. But if you wanted to take more of a risk, 84s could be the next big play to where if we get in early enough, we could be making a lot of coins into the hype of these evolutions. Before we talk about the Festival of Football Captains, we've got to talk about the UCL primetime promo because we really haven't gotten to since the first day it was out. Now, if you remember, I told you guys, do not touch these cards until they get closer to going out of packs or they're already out of packs because they're not going to get upgraded until at the earliest late November. But even then, it's not very good upgrades. However, there have been a few cards that towards the end of them being in packs started to rise, especially now that they're out of packs. Gakpo is one of them. Nemecha, which is one of the cards that I've been focused on, is also one of the cards that has risen really well out of packs. You can see that on Wednesday and Thursday, this card was like 240,000 coins, but after he went out of packs, he's only been rising. He's up to 300K right now, which is really good. I mean, 15,000 coin tax at this, even if you didn't buy at a perfect time, I mean, you're making like 30K per card after tax if you sold right now, which I don't think you need to because the next game for Dortmund is against Villarreal on November 25th. Now, here's the thing. On November 25th and 26th and 27th, that's really the week that a lot of these next games are going to be played for the, the Champions League, the Europa League, the Conference League, all of the different cards that are in this promo. But the biggest upgrades that you get from these cards aren't really going to happen until late January. So what you need to be doing is absolutely selling before these games even happen, because I think that people will buy into the hype a little bit, but the hype's not going to be that much because there's not that much on the line, because the biggest upgrades they could get in the first match is a roll plus with a play style, and then if he gets a goal or an assist, a roll plus and another play style. So 2 roll pluses, 2 play styles could be added to the card. Sure, it makes the card better, but not that much, right? It's not a playstyle plus. It's not a +1 upgrade on the card. It's not overall stats going up. It's just a roll plus and a playstyle behind the scenes. It does make the card a little bit better, but I think the hype is absolutely where you need to sell these cards going into their first matches, or if they were to score or get an assist, you're going to probably see a quick spike and then they come right back down. That's when you want to sell, is that quick spike. Do not wait for the actual upgrades to come around, even when they actually do get good upgrades. Like a playstyle plus is a good upgrade. A +1 overall is a good upgrade. A +1 overall right here is a good upgrade. You need 7 points. That's going to take at least 3 matches for that to happen. So 2 wins and a draw or 3 wins, that's going to take at least 3 matches to happen. And that's going to take months, literally months for that to happen. So that's not going to happen until January, even if it were to happen, which is not guaranteed either. Now, if the club that he plays for, like Dortmund here for Nitro, they score once in 4 different matches, he also gets another upgrade. So you could see cards like slightly start to go up over time if they're on track to get those upgrades. But overall, I don't think that you should be, really expecting these cards to spike up a ton at any given moment, right? It's really just going to be a steady rise as they get closer to these upgrades. But the problem is, if they do not get these upgrades, if maybe Dortmund don't score against Villarreal, if it's 0-0 or something like that, then you might actually see these cards drop after these games. So sell before their matches. That's going to guarantee your profit. If you've already bought, great. I would hold until that next match, which is a little over a week from now. But if you haven't bought yet, I do think that you could get involved with some of these cards right here that haven't really risen too much yet, or even the cards like Gakpo or Nemecha, who are up a lot. I do expect them to continue on that path until their first match. Here's a secret investment. For you guys that make it towards the end of my videos, actually comment the word secret investment down below. I'll heart your comment and I'll know who the OGs are that make it towards the end of my videos. And that's why I'm putting this towards the end of the videos, because I want you guys to get involved in this investment first, because UCL cards aren't the only dynamic cards in the game. Ultimate Scream cards still have another upgrade to come. They're going to get a Rolls Plus Plus, but they're also going to get their cards going to 99 stats again on December 4th, which is like 3 weeks away. It's less than 3 weeks away. It's like 2.5 weeks away. But again, you're selling into the hype. You're going to sell in 2 weeks. You're going to sell before the upgrade actually happens, because the first time around, that's what we did. We made a ton of coins. People that took the risk on these cards ended up losing coins, but you want to be in early. And here's the thing. I mean, let's take a look at this Mbomo, for example. He's 97,000 coins. Look at this card. So he was 200,000 coins. Then he got that upgrade. He dropped hard and pretty much continued to drop. His lowest point in general has been 91K. He's spiked back up to 120K for some reason, but he's back down in price right now. He's 97,000 coins. You can probably get this card for less. That's just an example. There's a lot of cards here, and the one that I probably like the most is this Cabal card because of how much he went up the first time. Guys, this Cabal card I think is a brilliant investment. Look at how much he's dropped over the course of the last day. He's gone from 70,000, 75,000 coins all the way down to 60K. He's 63 right now. Try to get it, and there's no rush, guys. Again, 2.5 weeks. But the earlier you get in is probably better. If you see this card under 60,000 coins, maybe pick up a couple. That's probably my favorite investment just because of how much you went up the first time. But you could really, take your pick on which card you want to get involved in from both of the teams. So that's Ultimate Scream Team 1, Ultimate Scream Team 2. Maybe my favorite would be Mariona. This card went to 99 pace, and that card was obviously, over 200,000 coins. She's now 89,000 coins right there. And we saw a drop on pretty much all the Scream cards over the course of the last day. So I think this is a good time to get involved. I think it's a good time to buy Scream cards and hold these. Now understand, this is a 2-week hold. If you don't have that patience, wait a little longer. Maybe you're paying a little bit more, but you should still be able to make profit. But the Ultimate Scream cards are dynamic. They're going to get a guaranteed upgrade on December 4th, and that's going to build in hype as time goes on. Nobody's talking about this right now, but a week from now or a week and a half from now, everybody's going to be talking about it, and it's going to be too late to get involved with the best prices. You're not going to be making the most coins, but I'm probably going to sell these on like, December 2nd, December 3rd, somewhere around there. So I'll keep you updated on when I decide to sell, but I think that these are good investments going into the long term. But again, don't buy inflated prices. You saw that in Mbomo, right? You saw that in Mbomo card we just talked about. He was 120,000 coins a couple days ago, just randomly, right? If we see another spike, like after this video comes out, I'm sure a couple people will go and look at Mbomo. If you see that card spike up 5K, 10K, don't buy. Wait for it to come back. It'll come back down again, all right? So don't be in any huge rush to buy any of these cards, but do expect them to have a slow rise over the course of the next couple of weeks, especially starting in about a week and a half. Now, the last thing to talk about today is the FOF Captains cards, because they're in packs right now. They're not dynamic, but some of the upgrades are really, really good. Like an Mbappe with a finesse shot plus in packs, a Van Dijk with an anticipate. This early in the game, I wouldn't expect that. You've even got Harry Kane with the low driven right there. These are really, really good cards. You've got a couple of medium budget cards that kind of catch my eye a little bit. A card like Di Lorenzo isn't too bad because this card did really well the first time he was in packs. This 85 rated Di Lorenzo back when the Cornerstones promo was out. Take a look at this card. The 14 days isn't going to work, but he got to his low point on Wednesday and Thursday, which is probably when we want to target this card this week. But that card went from 79,000 coins all the way to 120,000 coins in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's a very good card out of packs the first time around. And so we tend to see that with cards throughout the year. I'm not saying it's 100% perfect, but if it does well out of packs the first time, there's a good chance it's going to do well out of packs the second time. So Di Lorenzo is definitely a card that I have my eye on for later this week, but there are so many cards in this promo that probably are going to fly under the radar. I'm going to do a deeper dive into these for the next video because, again, it's still only Sunday right now, Monday morning for a lot of you guys. So it's still a little bit early to buy some of these cards. I'm going to wait until a couple days time to actually pick these cards up. We'll do a deeper dive on the cards that I like the price is the best, that I think will rise in price the best, but we'll keep an eye on these over the course of the next couple days. If you guys enjoyed today's video, do not forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you guys want more trades and investments to make millions of coins this year, check out Next Level Foot Trading by Fut Peppy. He's the #1 trader in the history of Ultimate Team. He'll send you trades straight to your phone, what to buy it for, when to sell, all that good stuff. You'll make millions. The link is down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.